What's poppin' party people? It's your boy Flatline back again, and today is a very special day. I'm happy to announce that we have hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, and this is a milestone that I never expected to reach. When I first started making music and YouTube content, I never thought that this many people would be interested in what I'm putting out, so it really means a lot to me. And to celebrate, I dyed my hair red. I'm just kidding, it was red before. But seriously, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't be more pleased with the direction things are going, and we're just going to keep it up. Today, we're going to be making a Barely Alive rhythm style bass in Serum, and we're going to jump right into it, but make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm going to announce the contest I have coming up. It's going to be super cool, and it's basically a win-win for everyone who enters, even if you aren't one of the 3 finalists. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, and let's jump right into the tutorial. Okay, so, as always, I've created a little 4-bar drop for you just to give you some context into what the sound would sound like in a real song. Keep in mind, like, this is really not a complex track. I'm sure you can make it a lot better, but this is what it sounds like. Yeah, so it sounds pretty freaking sick. I'm a big fan of this bass. I designed it last night, and it kind of just spurred out of nowhere. Just one thing led to another, and that's how I come up with almost all my sounds. It's really cool how stuff works out. So we are gonna get into how to make this right now. So I'm gonna disable all the effects, and we're gonna go through everything one by one. And I'm gonna disable everything here, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is make your LFO shape. You're gonna want something like this because it's a ba hit, and you're gonna set it to trigger. And I have it on 1/4, but in the song I automated the rate. You can start it on whatever you want, but a quarter note is like good to hear, like the tonal 1 hit. And we're working in 145 BPM for anyone who cares. Okay, so the first thing I did is turn on the sub oscillator, and when you do that, you have a choice. For your sub for basses, you can either go sine wave or triangle wave. I tend to use the triangle wave because it just bumps a little bit harder. Also, this step is optional too. If you want to use a sub bass like I'm doing here, then you don't need to use serums. But if you do, set it to direct out, and that means it'll dodge all of the effects you have in the effects chain. And the next thing we're going to do is open up oscillator A, and when you turn this on, I'm using phase Werb. It's a wavetable from the spectral section, and octaves on 0, everything's on 0, unison's on 4, so we have 4 voices playing, and the detune is up about 0.02%. I'm automating the wavetable position with LFO 1. Everything in this project is modulated with LFO 1. So not too complicated. Once you set up this LFO, we're just going to be applying it to a bunch of different things. I modulated it 113 from about 12 o'clock to full, and that gives you... Oh, and you're going to throw it on the level, obviously, from 0 to 100. So when your LFO is at the bottom, there's going to be no sound. When it's at the top, it's playing full volume. So far it sounds like this. If you hear the phasing effect, that is due to the random phase being turned all the way down, which means you're getting the same sound every time you hit the button. Oops. Same sound every time you hit the button, and because the detune is so low with 4 voices, so you get this really cool rhythm phasey effect. The next thing I did is turned on oscillator B, bumped it up 2 octaves, and we are using the FM square 1 wavetable. And the reason I chose to go with this and not a stock one is because it's a VR wavetable, and I know that most of you guys have the VR wavetables, so there it is, FM square 1. The wavetable position is sitting at about 75% here, 80%, something like that. And we're using LFO 1 to modulate the bend plus or minus, so it's bending plus and bending backwards. And we have it set to a little bit before 12 o'clock down to the 3 o'clock area, something like that. And once you turn that on, it sounds like this. You can hear we're introducing a lot of those high frequencies through FM from B, which is what I was leading into. We're not actually using the level on this oscillator here. As you can see, it's turned all the way down. The only thing that this is doing is modulating this wavetable. So you're turning your frequency modulation up to, out there. And that is going to introduce all these high frequencies because we turn the octave up from this wavetable. When you're using FM, it's really not even that important what wavetable you're using, as long as it's not a really busy one like this one. You wouldn't want to use that. But any basic shapes, some of these VR FM tables are really cool. And that's all you got to do. Normally I would have turned the random phase down on this. I don't know why I didn't. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm just going to leave it because that's how I had it and it sounded good, but you might want to try messing around with that knob. The next thing we're going to do is turn on the filter here. And you're going to click these two buttons. First off, which means that oscillator A and oscillator B are routed through the filter. We want them both to be affected. And then you're going to go to multi, and you're going to pick HN12. And what this is a notch filter. You have a peak right here in the back, which we're modulating, and then you have a peak with negative gain in the front moving back that we're also modulating. Sorry. You want to turn your resonance up to about here, close to the 3 o'clock position. And modulate the cutoff with LFO1, and you can see how far I have it modulated from about 10 o'clock to 12:31. And then you have LFO1 on the frequency going back from all the way up to almost 12 o'clock. And watch what the filter does when this is on. You have this peak that's moving forward because of the cutoff, and this notch here that's moving backwards with the LFO. All this can be tweaked to your liking, so once you have the sound finished, feel free to just mess around with this stuff and you'll get totally different tonal effects and mess with the resonance and the LFO shape, and you can get really creative with it and just mess around and come up with some cool stuff. The other thing with the filter, you want to make sure you have key tracking on. Because we're using a filter that has a lot of resonance here, when you turn on key tracking, it's going to match the resonance to the note that you're playing. Because if you notice, the resonance has a tone. So if you turn this back down to where it was, and turn on the key tracking, listen to the difference. Can you hear how the resonance is being affected by what note we're playing? That's what you want it, because when you're playing melodically in a song, you want you don't want to hear anything that's off key, so you're just matching the resonance to the note that you're playing, basically. And that's going to lead us straight into effects. So in the effects section here, we have some hyperdimension. I have the size on about 18% and the mix on about 14% for the dimension. And I have the mix on the hyper at about 30%. Usually I don't use the hyper, but on this preset it sounded pretty cool, very barely alive. And we're going to turn on the distortion, mix all the way up, and we're modulating the drive from 0 to about 29. And we're using the diode 2 distortion, and this is going to give it a sort of crunch that it didn't have before. So with these two effects on, it sounds like this. Just gives it a little more bite. And our next effect is chorus. And with the chorus, we have the mix at 4%, insanely low, low pass filter all the way up, feedback a little bit before 12 o'clock, depth almost 3 o'clock, and these two delays you can mess around with. You want them pretty close to each other. So I have this one at 0.2 and this one at 0.3, so you can mess with those numbers and the rate all the way down. And that sounds like this. Here's where the magic comes in. That OTT fixes everything. You're going to turn on your compressor. Don't mess with any of the settings at all. and you're just going to turn on multiband. You might want to turn the gain up accordingly if you need it, and that is going to make it sound like this. Super crisp. It sounds awesome. Next we have a tiny bit of reverb here. We're modulating the mix from 0 to 12, and plate reverb is just a lot smaller, and the size on 18%. I didn't mess with anything else. The reason we're modulating the mix of the reverb is so that every hit, you're not going to get a long tail. Only when the LFO is at its highest will you get the reverb, which is going to create space, but once the LFO goes back down, it's not going to leave a tail, which sounds good. And next I have an EQ here with tiny boosts on both of the gain knobs with 2 notches, and this is going to just give it a little bit more of a valley sound. On the left side we have the Q at about 12, and we're modulating the frequency from, I don't know, 10 to 12 p.m. And we're doing the same on this side, except we're modulating it from a little bit back from full, maybe 4 o'clock area, down to about the 1 o'clock area. So you're getting these 2 notches that move towards each other, and it creates this kind of valley yoy kind of sound, which is pretty cool, and it sounds like this. And that's about it for the Serum patch. It's really not too complicated. Pretty simple, and as always, I'm going to include it in the description of the video so you can just go download it. Use it to learn from, though. Break it down, watch the video, and mess along with the preset so you can see how things are starting to work. I'm going to show you a little bit of the post-processing that I did on the track. It's really simple. And yeah, let's get into that. So without all the post-processing, it's going to sound like this. First thing I did, threw on an OTT, as usual, just squash that sound down. I just expanded the bars of the high frequency just a little bit if you click these and drag, so it's just going to let the highs ring out a little bit more. Turn the time to 1000% always, otherwise you get this really like, you don't want any of that. Turn that down. Amount at 100% and turn the output up. I turn on the saturator at 0 decibels with soft clip on, and that makes it sound like this. Just makes it sound a little warmer. Another OTT with the amount on 40%. The high band really expanded this time because we're squashing it so much that the highs weren't really coming through, but I thought it needed more compression. So boost the output once again, and there you go. The next is a compressor here, and I'm not going to go over this because this is how I do my sidechain. It has nothing to do with how the sound is going to come out. It was just for the sample track, sidechaining it to these kicks. I am having a video come out soon about how I do my sidechaining. It's going to be like a 1-minute video. It's really easy. And the last thing I did was add some EQ, and I decided to use a separate sub bass that sounds like this. So because I was using a sub bass here, I put the high pass on the EQ and drug it up to about 100 hertz. So this is cutting out all the low frequencies that were in that sound. So normally it sounds like this, but I moved it to about here. Because I have a separate sub bass under, and you don't want those frequencies to clash or it'll sound muddy. So that's what I did there, and just a little bit of a notch right here for this like kind of tonal frequency I didn't like. My best advice to you is to grab a peak like this, pull it all the way up, and move it throughout the spectrum while you're playing the song, so you can find those nasty frequencies and then bring them down. So I found mine about right there. Threw that in, and just a little bit of boost to the highs. There you go. That's it for post-processing. Yeah, I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. It wasn't too hard to make, as you can see. There's a lot of possibilities if you go in there and start messing with stuff. And I hope it's a real help to you. Okay, so time for the contest announcement. Because we hit 50 subscribers, which again I'm so thrilled about, it's crazy. I'm gonna have everyone submit me a track, and I'm gonna have a contest. Once I hit 100 subscribers, I'm gonna pick my 3 favorite tracks, and you guys are gonna get some prizes. So let me run through how everything's gonna work. All you have to do is follow me on all my social media that's down in the description below. That's going to be like SoundCloud, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. You're going to like this video. And once you do all those little steps, you're going to send me a song. I'm going to leave my email down below. You're going to send me your best track, preferably a SoundCloud link. That's what I want to do. So send me a SoundCloud link with your best song. And everyone who enters the contest is going to get a repost on my SoundCloud. So even if you don't win, you're not one of the 3 finalists, you're getting a repost. And that means all of my SoundCloud followers are going to get to see your track, which is going to be super cool. It helps everyone in the community get some promotion opportunities. I wish more people did this when I was first learning to get my name out there. So that's how we're going to do it. Second place winner, third place winner. You are going to get a post on my Instagram as well with a sample of your track and a link to it so people can click from my Instagram and go to your video or your song. Sorry. Second place winner, you are going to get a repost on all of my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and on top of that, you're going to get a YouTube video on my channel with your song. So all of my subscribers, everyone who comes across my videos from Reddit, from anyone who watches my videos, when they go to my channel, there's going to be your song on there. So this is a huge promotion opportunity for all you producers out there to reach more people, and that's what I'm trying to do with this one. So you're going to get an entire video dedicated to your song on my channel. And first place winner, you're going to get the repost everywhere, as well as a gift card. I have a $25 Visa gift card here, which you can use wherever you want. I know it's not too much, but it's all I can afford at the moment to help you guys out. And I really just want to hear some of your tracks. So don't be discouraged from entering because you think you might not be a finalist. Everyone who submits a song is going to get a repost. So this is a huge, once again, promotion opportunity for all of you aspiring producers out there to get your name out. Get some people hearing your tracks. I mean, that's the most important part of producing music, right? It's not just for you in your bedroom. So I'm here to get you heard. So yeah, I think that's about everything. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you again for the 50 subscribers. It's really blown my mind. I can't stop telling people that I got this many. Here's to 50,000 eventually. Once again, I'm calling the contest off once I hit 100 subscribers. So you guys do what you do, leave a like, follow the socials, shoot me that SoundCloud link to your track in the email that I'm going to drop below in the description. And that's about it, guys. Have fun. I wish you good luck. Peace out.